Hey guys, welcome to Concept Art for Comics. This is your one stop shop for all things comic book art and design. My name is Dr. Barron Bell. I am a professor of art and design at Liberty University and George Fox University, and I'm also a published comic book author and artist. If you can do me a favor, please like this video and subscribe to this channel so we can grow and spread the word about how to become a better comic book artist overall. And without further ado, let's get in today's episode. So, we're back with another exciting episode of Concept Art for Comics. How's everybody doing this week? I hope everyone is good. So, from time to time, I get questions in my classes or on social media about digital painting. And it's not always straightforward. I think everyone has their own way of doing it, especially in the comics game. It is definitely something that I think you need practice at. But you really need to know kind of how to approach it, especially if you're a newbie at digital painting. I of course use Procreate, but before I was using Procreate, I was using um, Photoshop to do my digital painting with a Wacom tablet. But now, of course, Procreate has the Apple Pencil on the iPad, which really changes the game for me. When I start doing my digital painting now, this character is from my book Dominion, Fall of the House of Saul. Her name is Michael. She is a princess, but she's also an adventurer. She's a warrior, and she travels in space with her handmaiden, and they, fight bad guys and do all sorts of cool stuff. What I wanted to do with this was just kind of do a nice little concept image to show, okay, this is who Michael is. Now she's a lion or a lioness. And so, of course, I had to do a lot of visual reference of, okay, what does a lion look like? And then I had to combine that with a human, human facial features. So instead of, the lion mouth for the females, I use human lips so that it can look feminine, more so feminine than an actual lion, because a lion doesn't really look like they have a gender. If you look at a male lion or a female lion, they kind of look the same, except for the male have the big gigantic mane. So my method for digital painting is really, it's just about layering. I will start by really just kind of laying down a color layer where it really is just the flat color, but I also add some basic darks and lights. Identifying your light source is really the first step in creating a digital painting. Make sure when you are organizing your layers, in order to really make things look clean and look like they flow, you want to use a blending mode, which basically shows the layers underneath the layer you're working on, so that you can see the line work. But you have to set that to a multiply. There are different blending modes you can use, but multiply is the one you use, or the one I use. And please make sure you label all of your layers. One of the things I like to do is I like to study the masters of classical art, especially Vermeer and Caravaggio. Don't be afraid to go back and look at these old guys, because they really knew what they were talking about. They understood where the light was coming from and how to make almost photorealistic paintings. As I am carving out the dark areas, you'll notice that it does kind of make the facial muscle structure underneath the skin pop out. And then, of course, you want to get in good eyes. And so this is where visual reference really helps with eye color and the different facial features, coloring that, you would see on a lion. Different color shadows for different colors are very important. So under the white muzzle, it's going to be gray, whereas on the face, you're going to see kind of like a a darker brown, and you'll have to look at the color. And then if you want to do a shadow, you just go a couple of shades darker than that color to really make a good shadow effect. Because this part is metal, the helmet, light is going to be reflective, and highly reflective surfaces show up as white. On another layer, I will lay down the background. In this case, I'm going through a little color theory when I put down my background. If you look, the background color is blue. The foreground color of Michael is kind of a brown, light brown. And if you don't really know about color theory, I'm just going to do just a really quick example by just using a color wheel. If you haven't seen a color wheel before, it is basically showing you where all the colors kind of line up. You have complementary colors, which are colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. So if you look and you see, okay, green, the complementary color of green is going to be red. For yellow, the complementary color would be purple, and so on. You can see from this color wheel exactly what lines up. If you use complementary colors together on an image, it makes it look interesting. The cool colors, which are the blues, they recede. And then the warm colors, which are the oranges and the browns and the reds, they pop out. So think about color theory even before you start your image, because this is a great way to make something look very interesting. What I'm doing is now modeling the background. When I say modeling, I mean just really creating variations of dark and light. Smudging. I use like a little smudge brush. By the way, the brushes that I'm using in Procreate are pretty much a flat brush, and then a smudge brush as well, when I'm just kind of taking that initial flat color and then just kind of smudging it around. If you had a paintbrush, you would basically be just swirling it around in the paint to create areas of a variation of dark and light color. If you look at the helmet on Michael, there is this kind of a high reflective surface, and I smudged that out, and just really, I want it to look like glass. And so this is where, I don't know, you got to go to visual reference. And for this, I actually, okay, I'm going to confess, I used the original Alien poster as a reference, visual reference for this this example. So don't shoot me, it happens. So I just wanted to have something cool and something fun and do my take on this particular Sigourney Weaver Alien poster. But as I'm going through the color portion of this drawing, I had to go back and do a little bit of ink work and clean it up a little bit. So sometimes you do that. Going back and doing the reflective surfaces. So you got your midtones, you got your highlights, and then you got I call them high highlights, which is the high reflective surfaces. You'll notice like on the eyes, there's like this gleam that you see. It's an eye light, which is what they call it in film. It's what makes the eye glisten. And if your drawings don't have high highlights, you really should use that, because it adds that little bit of realism, those little differences, little things that really kind of make for a really good final product. So modeling more of the background behind her gives it a sense of three-dimensionality. The devil is in the details. It really is. look at some high highlights going on the gleam. I'm not particularly a fan of gimmicky stuff like lens flares, but every once in a while I know that it's that last little bit of embellishment that can be the icing on the cake. So if you use it, but don't overdo it. Some more dealing with darker areas and shadows. I then go to the background and I do what's a technique called stippling, where I do little pinpricks, just dots on the canvas where I'm doing my stars. You'll notice that it's kind of a tedious thing to do, but I chose to do it and drive myself crazy. And once you do that, I think I feel like I'm done. Could I do more? Absolutely. But you as an artist, and this is what I said in my first episode, you got to figure out when you're finished. Anyways, I could talk about this stuff all day, but in general, think about lighting, think about layering, think about levels of depth in shadow and light, midtones and highlights. And I think once you do that, then you're on your way to a very, very good digital painting. And that's it for this week. I really want to do more than once a week, but listen, I'm a college professor, and I'm doing a book. So I have my hands full. Until I can get an assistant who can help me with some of this stuff, I'm only going to be doing this once a week. But that's it for concept art for comics. Guys, it's a blast. I hope to continue to grow this channel, and I'm going to do a lot of cool little subject matter. Please, if you have a question or if you have a topic you'd like me to cover, just send me an email at contact@terminusmedia.com. If you just want to leave a comment or a question, whatever, please feel free to do so in the comments below. But also, look out for our new book. Our new book is Dominion: Fall of the House of Saul, Chapter 2. This is basically Star Wars meets Narnia, and so it's a cool little sci-fi space opera with animals and starships and mechs and all sorts of cool stuff. And it's coming out right in time for Christmas in digital. And our print versions will be available in January and February. We're also on Comixology, so please feel free. Issue 1 is already out on Comixology or on our website if you want. Hard copies, many different versions, signed, and all sorts of different cool swag is on the website at www.terminusmedia.com. So I think next week we'll probably be dealing with comic book layout, maybe doing thumbnail sketches to actual initial pencils. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that, maybe not, but I think that's the direction I want to go next. But guys, thanks so much, and I'll see you next week.